Welcome. This is a tutorial on how to use Adobe Audition, the basics of editing and saving a cut. And first thing we need to do is introduce you to the workspace. Now, when you open Adobe Audition, it may look something like this. Now, we don't want to play with that. That's for a completely different purpose. So what I would tell you is no matter what your window looks like, come up here to the three little arrows on the upper right next to default. Click on those arrows and come down to the point where it says Classic. This was developed by the radio industry and by Adobe to do the simple type of cuts editing that is usually the quickest and fastest to work with. So we're going to click on Classic, and you can see suddenly we've gotten rid of a lot of the stuff that was in the other window. So let's do a tour. Let's start up here in the upper left-hand corner, Waveform. This is where we're going to work, right here. And we're going to look at audio waveforms. The file folder will be over here. This will tell you what files you have opened. Downstairs here is the markers. As we go through the audio, we may want to pick a particular place to go back to. Well, we can put a marker there. And then later on, we can click on those markers and it'll take us right there. Down below is the transport. Now, what's funny about the transport is it uses the same controls and commands that reel-to-reel tape recorders used, and they haven't been around for 20 years. So let's get started. Over here, the square is stop. We have play, pause. Now, a little warning about pause. When you put the deck into pause, nothing works. It is truly paused. It's for you to look. You can't edit anything like that. This marker here with the arrow pointing to the vertical line takes you back to the very beginning or your last edit point. So it's a quick jump. Then you have rewind, fast forward, which is really kind of funny because we're not fast forwarding through anything. Then we have jump to the very end. The red button, of course, is record. And then we have the loop feature. You can highlight a part of the audio that you want to listen intently to, and it will play it over and over and over for you so that you can hear what it is you're looking for. The next window here is the time window, and our time window will read out the minutes, it will read out hours, minutes, and seconds. Then we have the zoomer window, and until we put some audio in Adobe Audition, it will not light up. But this allows us to literally zoom in down to the individual sine waves of a piece of audio. And let's see, what else? I don't think we need to know anything else right at this point. Oh, wait a minute, we do. Down here is the audio level meter. And what you want to do here is you want to adjust your audio so that you're at least at -10. This is in decibels. You don't want to drive it over here into the red because that will distort your audio. So let's go back up. We want to bring some audio in, and the simplest way to do that is click on File and Open. And this will bring up your Finder window. And we're going to go here on a flash drive and click a demonstration piece that I start students with. And we'll open that. And this is called Conley Can't Count. Now, what you're looking at here is the sine waves. Notice our zoomer controls down here lit up. Well, we can zoom in horizontally. And each time I click on my mouse, you notice we zoom in farther and farther to the point that we see individual sine waves. We can edit literally to the sine wave. Now, once we're in that far, how do we get back out to the view we just saw? we go with the little magnifying glass, and it says zoom out full in all axes. Click on it, and we're back. We can also do the same thing up here. The button's up here. Now, there is another zoom control on this window. It's up here at the top. And what we do is we grab one end of it. Come on now. And we pull it in across, and we're picking a point. And then if we want, we can move that along and look at the different points in the audio. And when we're finished and we want to come out, we just click on the magnifying glass, zoom out full, and we're back where we were. So we've got us some audio. You notice over here the file is shown, Conley can't count, and we're ready to go to work. Now, your cursor, when you come out of the work window, will be a typical cursor. When you go into the waveform area, it forms this little I-beam. When you click on that, you'll get a marker, and you can highlight things, just like I'm doing here. Or you can grab it up here at the top and move it. Now you notice you can hear the audio playing back as I do that. That lets you zip through it if you like. So let's play this and see what we have.
This is an editing exercise. Quite frankly, I can't count. And your job in editing is to put the numbers 1 through 10 in the proper sequence. Here's how I count to 10. 1, 9, 3.
Now I'm going to stop it at this point, and depending on how your computer is set up, you can use the space bar on the computer to start and stop. Notice the audio meters down here.
2, 6, 8.
And that's about where we want them. So the purpose of this exercise is to teach me to count. Now, the quickest way I can get back to the beginning is go over here and click my arrow to the wall, and it takes me all the way back to the beginning. So let's learn how to edit something here. We're going to hit play.
This is an editing exercise. Quite frankly, I can't count. And your job in editing is to put the numbers 1 through 10 in the proper sequence. Here's how I count to 10.
So we don't need that. We want to count to 10. I'm going to click on my marker. I'm going to bring it back across. I've highlighted that area. Now I can hit the delete key and it's gone. But here's the magic of digital editing. This is called non-destructive editing. We didn't delete anything. That audio is still on the hard drive. Basically, what you're looking at is a graphic representation of the audio. And by editing that graphic, we tell the computer what to play and what not to play. Now, say you do that, how do you get it back? Come back up to Edit, and the infamous Undo Delete Audio, click on it, and it'll put it right back. You have unlimited undos. So, if 2 or 3 edits in you want to go back, you can. But let's go ahead and get rid of it by hitting the delete key on the keyboard. And look at what we've got here. We've got a little blip of some kind, and that's a big breath. So we don't want that. We're going to click, drag, delete. It's that simple. Let's listen.
1, 9, 3, 2.
Wait a minute. I don't want that do you? No, we don't want that. So let's highlight the and delete it.
2, 6, 8.
Okay. See our little breath here? Yeah, we don't want that either. So let's get rid of our and our breath.
10, 4, 7, and which one do I got? Oh, 5.
Okay, we want to get rid of this. We don't need this. Again, we click, drag, highlight, and hit delete. Now we're left with the numbers. Basically, editing on Adobe Audition is like editing in a Word document. You can cut and paste. Let's start at the very beginning by going back, and I'll use the back button. Takes me back to the beginning.
1, 9, 3, 2.
Ah, there's my 2. I'll highlight it, and then using the keyboard commands or the mouse. If you right click, it will give you, cut, copy, all sorts of commands. Some people like to use the cut and the copy here and the paste here. Some people find it simpler. If you notice over here, the keyboard commands are beside it. And on a Mac, it's the Command X, which is cut. Some people prefer the mouse, some people for the keyboards. I prefer the keyboard, and I just hit Command X and I cut it. Now, I can come back, bring my cursor here, and I'll hit Command V for paste. Again, it's on a Mac, and there it is. So let's see how it worked.
1, 2, 9, 3.
Okay, let's grab 3. We'll highlight it, and we'll cut it, and then we'll come back over here, and we'll paste it. Now, I want to show you something that can be of great help to you. Up across the top is the timeline. This starts at 2 seconds. There's 2.5 seconds. There's 3 seconds. The little hash marks are 1/10 of a second. Now, if I want to, I can expand this. And you see what my cursor did? In other words, when I hit on the line there, I can move that line back and forth. So at this point, if I'm happy with it, I'm going to leave it there. And we'll go back to the beginning.
1, 2, 3, 9, 6, 8, 10, 4.
Ah, there's 4. Let's grab that, and we'll cut, and we'll come back here, and we'll paste. So now we're counting.
1, 2, 3, 4, 9.
Now, I want to show you a word. You'll find that several of the numbers here are more complex than you realize.
6.
Now, you say, well, what's this on the end? Is this noise? No, that's the sibilance of 6. I highlighted it. I can use a space bar to play it. So if I were to take that off, I'm going to delete it.
6.
It doesn't work, so I need to put it back. So we can go up to Edit, Undo, Delete, and I've got my number 6 back. You'll also find the same thing with here with the word 8. So let's assume for a moment that we've edited everything into order like we want it to. And another feature of this is that we want to mark something.
9, 6.
Okay, that's where 6 starts, is right there. If we want to be able to go back to that point, we press the M key on the keyboard, and you notice it put a marker in. And we can go on down the ways.
6.
We could put another marker here, just M, and that lets us come back here and do something. Edit, paste, whatever we want to. To delete the markers, it's simply a matter of putting your cursor on it, getting the little finger, and delete the marker. We can rename it if we want to, but we'll just go ahead and delete our markers because we don't really need those for this purpose. So, now that we've got our piece edited, and we'll use the back button here and go all the way back, there's one other thing we can play with, and that is the audio level. This volume control up here, when we put our cursor on it, changes, and we can turn the audio down or we can turn the audio up. And we can do this while watching the meter below.
9, 6, 8, 10, 7, 5.
Now, you saw it pop red for just a microsecond there. that's going to be okay. But if it's doing the red constantly, then you want to turn your audio down. So, let's say we've edited everything. We are ready to save this. How do we get this out of Audition? It's as simple as a Word document. Go up to File, Save As. Now, we can give it a new name if we want to, and by clicking Browse, we can do that. We can give it a new name. Let's just say Bob. Poor Bob. Bob can't count. We're going to save it, and in this case, I would like to save it to the desktop. You may want to save it to a flash drive or some other medium, and we're going to save it in MP3 audio. Now, if we click this drop down, you're going to see that Adobe Audition will save in virtually any format of audio. The two that you want to be interested in are WAV, which is the highest quality, and MP3, which is a lossy format. It's a compressed format. What some people do is they'll save the file initially in WAV, then they'll save it again in MP3. That way they have an original master at a very, very high quality level that they can go back to. But we'll go ahead and save this in MP3, and we'll click Save That. There's our changes. Now, when I click OK, it's going to say, hang on a minute, you're saving to an MP3, that's a compressed format, and we're there. Okay, so where did it save it to? Well, I put it on the desktop. Let's go see if we can find it. And where did Bob go? Bob can't count. There he is.
1, 2, 3, 4, 9.
And there's our project. So the best way to learn Adobe Audition is to literally play with it. And an editing exercise like this lets you do that. I'm sure you're probably going to get something that voice or something that you can edit. And the help menu is very good in Adobe Audition. So if you need assistance, you can find it up here. And other than that, that's pretty much the basics of how to edit in Adobe Audition.